Hi, Councillor Lane. Just so you're aware, you are chairing this committee. And you're on mute.
Okay, I did send a note in the chat. I haven't got an agenda in front of me. So could someone send me an agenda? I've got the minutes of the last meeting, but not an agenda.
Hi, Councillor Lane. You should have an email off me. I just sent it then.
Just a second, let me have a look. Right. Agenda, yes, it's come through. Yes, I have an agenda now. Thank you very much for that. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Greater Gwent Crematorium Joint Committee on this bright sunny afternoon. Are there any apologies for absence, please?
We've had two apologies.
Julian Simmons of Caerphilly County Borough.
Right, okay.
Councillor Chris Smith and Councillor Julian Simmons have both given apologies.
Right. Have we heard from Angela Sandals at all from Monmouthshire? No? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry. Hello, Malcolm. I'm here in the chamber. I made an effort to be in person.
Okay. Right,
Thank you.
Okay. Right, okay. Fine, that's good. Any declarations of interest, please? No? As and when? Hello?
We can hear you, Malcolm, but your screen is frozen.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm having a little trouble today for some reason. Just bear with me a second, please. Right, can you see me now? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, we can.
Okay, any declarations of interest?
No.
None at all? Right, thank you. Minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 18th of September. Have you all had a copy of the minutes? Have you all read the minutes? Could I have a proposition that they are accurate?
Propose the true record.
Seconded, please.
Second, Angela Sandals.
Right, thank you. All in approval, yes? Thank you. Are there any matters arising from these minutes, please? Anything other than this agenda today? Any comments at all?
Yeah, there is a typo in the one part where I made a comment.
Where was that, Steve?
I'm just trying to find it now.
Okay, thank you.
Never find it when you want it. It's in the questions for the committee. It says Councillor Emma Torwine questioned how long the trial period was. Well, I wasn't riding a horse; it was trial. So.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, we acknowledge our typo, and I'm sure it'll be corrected.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
So the minutes may be signed. That's good. Fine. Okay. Now the next item, agenda item, is item number 4: budget proposals and review of fees for 25-26.
Yep, that's me. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to take us through that, please?
Well, lovely. Thank you. Okay, so the report that I have for you today, budget proposals and fee review of the fees. So what I'm asking for is that members agree no fee increase for 25-26, a reduced fee of £325 for direct cremations, as detailed in the report on page 4 to 5. Approve the resulting budget proposals for 25-26. And agree a distribution of £450,000 for this financial year, 24-25, which we estimate to be around a £10,000 draw from reserves at this moment in time.
Right, okay.
So Detailed in the report then, we have the background, which is just saying that we need to set the budgets for 25-26 with the three options included within the report. The planned surplus for 25-26 is £351,000. That's prior to any distribution that we make in that particular year or any fee increase. The financial summary for 24-25 is showing a £440,000 surplus, which, when we take into account the £450,000 distribution, will be the £10,000 draw from reserves if all goes to plan.
Right.
Page 3 of the report is just detailing that the income, the position at the end of December, is showing an outturn forecast of £162,000 less income than we budgeted for. And it was just really to let the committee know that when the budget was set, it was based on cremation numbers of 1,614, which included all cremations and not just adult cremations. So if I just give a little bit of context around that. So the adult cremations are set at currently £930 per service. The other cremations, which could be child cremations, direct cremations, are priced lower than that. So obviously, if you take those into account, the income won't be at £930 per cremation. So what we're saying is, if we're basing all of these figures now going forward on just adult cremations instead of all cremations, we need to reduce those figures down. So that's just the context of why we're reducing the numbers from 1614 to 1424, as detailed in the report.
Right.
So the table on page 3 of the report highlights what the actual cremations were for last year, which was 1,420. We're projecting 1,424 for this financial year. So that's with regard to the income. So this is this financial year we're talking about at the moment.
Of course, yeah.
The employees, the overspend showing against employees is due to the agency cover that we had to have for the cover of the manager's post. That vacancy has now been filled along with all the other vacancies at the crematorium. The premises saving is due to a reduction in the rateable value by the valuation office agency. The supplies and services, we're projecting a planned overspend, and that is because of burial memorials. So the burial memorials are the stone memorials. When they're purchased in bulk, because obviously it's something that needs to be it needs to be laid out in the grounds. So we previously had some budget set aside for this, but because we didn't need it every year, we took that as the saving. So now, obviously, when we do need to purchase the burial memorials, it needs to come out of that year's revenue budget. Sorry.
Right.
The budget agreed for 24-25 presumed a £569,000 surplus, and that was sufficient for the dividend of £450,000. Looking at the current projection of £440,000, we're saying that the £450,000 is still feasible to go forward, taking the £10,000 from reserves if required. So that is to do with the 24-25 position as at now. So has anybody got any questions on that before I move on to the 25-26 budget?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for that very comprehensive explanation of your report. Do the members have any questions at all, please? No? Yes.
Yeah, the only question I got, I haven't got any of the financial report. I've got the minutes, that's the only thing I've got. So.
All right, okay.
I did put on the chat, yeah.
Okay. Taylor, I think they were sent out, weren't they, in the link?
Yeah, I've got, yeah.
Hi, Councillor Evans. I'll send you the agenda now.
Lovely, thank you.
Right.
Great.
I have to, it's very comprehensively laid out, I have to say, and your explanation is, followed very, very detailed. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I'll just wait for Councillor Evans just to get the agenda before we move on, just just in case you've got any questions.
As a matter of interest, child cremations, what's the charge difference? Just interest.
Yes, the child cremations, there's no charge for child cremations.
No, right. Same as burials in churches then, that's fine. There's no charge.
Yeah, so obviously with previously when we had the numbers for cremations, it was always reported on all cremations. But when we set the fee, we take the cremation numbers and we take the adult cremation fee. So it was almost overinflating the cremation numbers. So we're just making sure that they're back in line.
No, I understand that, because if there's no charge, there's still a cost. There's still a cost to you, isn't it?
Exactly.
I've got that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
Councillor Evans, have you got?
Yeah, I've just had a quick skim through it. You mentioned the 10,000. Do you think that's sufficient enough to cover that, or do you think it needs to be slightly higher? That's the question.
Yeah, so at the moment, the projection looks as if we're going to have a surplus of 440,000. So if we take the £450,000 distribution to the constituent authorities, we should only need to take 10,000 from reserves. We're hoping that income comes in at higher and we may not have to take anything from reserves, but taking a precautionary view on it at the moment, we're assuming it's going to be sort of £10,000. The reserves are currently sitting at £812,000. So taking the 10,000 will still give us £800,000 in reserves.
Oh, that's healthy.
Yeah. Okay, so we all okay with the 24-25?
Can we have a proposition that the report is accepted, please?
Chair, can I ask one question before that?
Yes,
okay,
Angela, yes, indeed, please.
Joanne, I can see that you've said that child cremations are free. Is this the same for Langston Vale or for the private providers? I just wondered if this is a national thing, that cremations are free for under 17s. Thank you.
I'm probably not best placed to answer that query. I don't know whether one of my colleagues from the crematorium are able to help. They should be in the chamber with you.
Yeah, I'm you, Joanne. Yes, Councillor. Yeah. Generally, all cremations or burial services of anyone under the age of 18 would be free of charge. In terms of what the private crematoria do either side, I'm not entirely certain of that, but I would imagine they would offer the same.
Well, I know as far as the Church in Wales are concerned, there's never been a charge for a child's burial. Any other questions, please, before we put the report forward for acceptance?
I just need to move on to the 25-26 budget setting part of the report a second. So as long as there's no further questions, I'll just move on to that part of the report now.
Lovely.
So we're on page 3 of the report. So this is just talking about the 25-26 budget setting now. So we've applied the inflationary factors laid out on page 4. 3% for pay, 8.2% for refuse collection, 4% for rates, 3% for water, and 4% for rent income. Premises, we're expecting there to be savings on both gas and electricity and cremator repairs and maintenance costs in next financial year due to the cremator replacement works that are currently going on up at the crematorium or about to begin. These cost savings will not be realised until further into the year, but the full impact of this benefit will be mainly realised in the next financial year. So it's just to be aware that there will be savings in next financial year, but it's likely to be, the full impact will likely to be in the year after. The manager's report is going to detail some plans for a proposed new memorial garden and infant memorial garden. Any potential impact on revenue would be in capital financing costs, and this would again take place in 26-27. But the committee will be updated on this as we go through. The budget being presented today, though, does not have any provision for this because we don't.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes, please.
What I would like to know is on the inflationary factors, we put in 3% pay. Is that guaranteed, or is it open to movement on that? Because what I'd like to know, if it went up to 4%, how much would that actually cost us for the extra percentage?
Sorry, did I drop off then?
Yes.
You were asleep. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't not sure where I was up to then. Okay,
No,
Councillor Evans, did you have a question?
Yeah, on the inflationary thing, where you got 3%,
Yeah.
has that been agreed? Or the reason I ask, if it went to 4%, how
Yeah.
much would that extra percent cost us financially?
Yeah. So these are the figures that we've had at the moment that the council bases their estimates on. So these are the projected forecasts that we have. If it goes up, obviously there would be a cost implication, and we would report that to the committee as and when that happens. But these are the figures that we've got to base the estimates on at the moment.
thank you.
Okay. So I think I was up to premises. So supplies and services. The service manager has highlighted that there's some services that need reviewing within the next financial year. These are the music and media supplier, which is currently with a contract with Wesley Media. This contract is due to end on the 22nd of March. Other suppliers have been contacted, and Obitus seem to provide the best service that we would be happy to go forward with. They've provided a quote which includes a one-off cost for installation and software and hardware of 10,477, yearly subscription cost of 10,600. There's lots more information available around this, so if anybody's got any questions or need further information, I can forward that on, as the crematorium manager has provided that information if we need it. They're all fee generating items, so this will cover the cost of the yearly subscription and also have potential to increase revenue further. The other thing that we want to review is the current software used at the Gwent Crematorium, which is currently outdated. Plotbox software has been adopted by the cemeteries at Newport City Council, so therefore they would be the preferred supplier. And again, costings have been included for this. Installation, 34,000, annual support fee of 8,600. So provision in the 25-26 budget has been made for the one-off installation costs. And the annual subscriptions, obviously we've got software and we've got Wesley Media at the moment, so they would be comparable. So it's just to let you know that those have been included as one-off fees in this financial year's, in 25-26 budget setting. So it's just to let you know that they're sort of one-off items. The income then going forward for 25-26 is going to be based on the reduced cremation numbers for adult cremations only of 1424. And the income levels have been adjusted for budget setting to £137,000 lower than 24-25. So the suggestion is that we maintain our current adult cremation fee of £930, which would be lower than our nearest competitors. And they currently operate a tiered pricing structure based on the service time. So ours are set, across the board. Theirs are set as a tiered pricing structure at the moment. Then we've got on page 5 about direct cremations. So the direct cremations are non-attended services held at the chapel, and we currently have these priced at, I've lost my place now, sorry. So yeah, we're currently asking if we could set those prices at £325. What's happening at the moment is funeral directors are going past Gwent Crematorium to go to other crematorium because these are priced lower elsewhere. So we feel that we're losing out on business by having them set at a higher price So the committee is being asked if we can lower the price for those, which is from £459 to £325 for the non-attended direct cremations. And then for the reducing the price for the direct cremations, the attended, from £459 to £450. So in summary then, what we're asking for on page 6 of the report is that we have freeze the fees for 25-26. So last financial year, we increased the fees by 10%. This year, we're asking to freeze the fees and leave them as they are. So the adult cremation fee that we base the estimates on will be left at £930. We're asking to reduce the non-attended direct cremation fee from £459 to £325 and reduce the attended direct cremation fee from £459 to £450. And then the last thing is just to approve the 25-26 budget. So,
Oh, thank you, Joanne, for that. Should we take them one by one?
Yep.
Councillors and members of the committee, we'll talk about the fees first, shall we? Are we all happy about the statement about the freezing of current fees and for non-attended direct cremations to be reduced to £325 and reduce attended direct cremation fees from £459 to £450? Any comments before we take a vote on that, please?
Can I ask a question? Me again.
Yes, indeed.
With the middle one, reduced non-attended direct cremation fees, have we got any figures to work out how many people actually have had that, or how many have actually come to the crematorium? It just gives us an overall difference for the, we're trying to reduce it, but depending on how many figures we have, coming through.
yeah, I thought I'd put that into part of the report. Let me just have a look. All right, okay. So on page 6 of the report, so on page 6 of the report, there have been 64 direct cremations in the period from April to December. So if projected for the full year, the 134 fee reduction would have a potentially projected impact of 11,390 loss of income. Right. However, what we're saying from the report is that because we're currently losing business, we would be attracting more, and therefore that would even out.
Yeah. No, that's great. That answers the question I wanted. How much?
Okay. So, are we happy about the statement on fees then?
Yes.
Could I have a proposition that the fees are accepted as been stated?
Yeah,
I move that.
Yeah.
Seconded by, please.
I second that then.
Fine. Okay. All in agreement. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Fine. Thank you for that, Joanne. That was very comprehensively delivered.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did we approve? Sorry, did we approve the 25-26 budget as well?
Yes, we did.
Yep, amazing. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
All.
Right. Many thanks. Let's go back to the agenda now. Sorry. Right. On agenda number 5, facilities management, to receive an oral update from Newport North representative, please, if we've got that available.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Brief update from me this afternoon, basically around the chapel roof. So if you remember at the last meeting, I said we was hoping to get a paper to you for this committee meeting. Unfortunately, that was not possible. So there was a report commissioned to see if it's possible to patch repair the roof rather than replace the whole thing because of the time constraints of replacing the whole thing. That report was returned at the end of November, And yes, we've actually got to do the whole thing. The roof's is beyond repair, basically. So now at the moment, we're trying to find a solution where the roof can be replaced with at least a amount of disruption to the service. So we're in discussions with roofing companies and manufacturers to see what alternative roof coverings could be used to try and reduce the time of the installation. One example is an aluminium air tile, they're called, which has it looks like a tile, but it's not. It's much more lightweight and it's a lot quicker to install. On top of that, we've also got the future installation of PV on the roof to be considered when we're choosing a solution. So we're going to liaise with them about things like brackets for the solar PV and et cetera.
Right.
And of course, alongside that, there's also the new cremator works, which we're trying to make sure any time that we have to close to do the roof is in tandem with that. So we're not wasting that opportunity and having to close twice. Unfortunately, that's all I can say at the moment because there's a lot of work ongoing with it. I met with Kerry on site last week, I think it was. We've had a walk around. Yeah, the roof needs doing.
Right.
You can see it's
I think
quite,
I think from what you said, it's obvious it needs doing. Any comments from members of the committee, please?
So so you're saying if you put them new tiles, which are the lightweight ones, are they strong enough to hold solar panels?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. They come with a bracket that's purposely for that roof tile. There'd be no problem with that. If we go for that option, it would be a 40-year guarantee. It'll look just like tiles, would have a tile appearance. Like I said, we've got to make sure that is the best option for this before I present it.
Yeah.
But the quicker install is the key, I think, on this one.
But also, once the solar panel goes up, there's a saving from that anyway. So it's a win-win situation. Yeah.
Thank you, Thank you, Councillor, on that one. Any other comments or questions at all on the report, the oral report?
Yeah.
No?
Just a quick one. I think you sort of touched on it there, Carl, anyway, but in the past we talked about if there's going to be disruption anyway, just making sure that absolutely any other work that would also cause disruption, whether that be the roof or something completely different, all gets kind of wrapped into that. I know that, that could potentially result in a big cost all at the same time, but then if it's saving future earnings, then it's possibly worth doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I say when I met with Kerry, that was one of the things that I mentioned, trying to tie in as much as we possibly can. I know he's got plans outside of what we're doing, so yeah. We'll try and just maximise that time there.
I'm sorry, we're here in the chamber and the sound unusually seems to be not very good. I couldn't really hear you very well, Carl, I'm afraid. You said something was beyond repair, but I don't know what was beyond repair.
It's the roof, Councillor. The
entire roof
is beyond repair. Yes. Yeah. So we looked to see if we could just patch repair it. We commissioned a report on it, and the report come back and said no, it's got to all be done.
Okay.
Can I come back in? Does that include the roof battens?
No, the batten should be fine. It's actually boarded on the inside, and there's no sign of water ingress at the moment. Or very little water ingress. It's a little bit around by the pulpit, etc. So, yeah, there'll be an allowance made in the contract sum for any battens that do find it be rotten, but we're not expecting to find it.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Because that would be a substantial cost if it was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Any other questions at all?
Sorry, can I just ask, so will we be getting estimates about the costs next meeting? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's it. We're putting the costs together now. The one manufacturer's putting a specification together. So once the specification is done, we'll be able to get a cost then for the install. So I'd quite comfortably say this time that, we'll get it for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Carl, for that anyway. Are there any other questions at all? No? In that case, Carl, thank you very much for your oral update, and I'm sure we look forward to the next meeting to having a full report.
I'm sure
thank you very much.
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Right, we come to item number 6 now, a funeral director's report to consider any issues raised by the local funeral directors. Who do we have to speak on that, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's Mike Ryan, as usual.
Oh, hello. Yes, good afternoon, Mike. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. Well, first of all, on behalf of the National Association of Funeral Directors South West Wales Division, as it's our first meeting, may I wish you all a pleasant new year on behalf of us all. First of all, though, I would like to bring up, and I've had a talk to Kerry, our bereavement services team leader, prior to this meeting. It was brought up at the last meeting from our President, Kerry Peake, stating how difficult it was when pulling out of the cremation area from the floral area of the crematorium. I believe Kerry has gone to Torfaing Borough Council about WR lines, and I would like to ask him to update you on that through the meeting, please, Kerry.
Yeah, no problem at all, Mike. Yeah, we're just awaiting, Chair, a positive response from Torfaing when they've had an opportunity to have a look at the roadway outside the crematorium.
Thank you, Kerry.
That was the meeting. I'm in Torfaing. And I go to meeting. My meeting at 3 o'clock is with all the heads and chief exec. So there we are.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only other question I'd like to bring up, it was brought up by our President, Mr. Kerry Peake, about the Wesley system that is presently in operation at the crematorium. He feels that it is not to the standard of the other one, the Obida system, at other crematoriums. Could we possibly have a look at that? I did have a talk to Kerry prior to this meeting, and he did say he would bring it forward.
Yes, Chair. I think we've mentioned this previously in the financial update from Joe Hazelwood. We were looking at new providers. The contract with Wesley runs out sometime in March this year, so we're looking at the opportunity of potentially renewing a contract either with Wesley or moving on to deal with Orbidus. So that's ongoing at the moment, and we'll update you when we have more on that.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all from me, funeral directors.
Well, just as a matter of interest, as I very often am in the crematorium using the system, what is the biggest problem with it? I'm just interested.
On a personal basis, I haven't found a problem as far as the funeral director myself is concerned. But others are finding it's not up to the standard at all. Other funeral directors have mentioned to me, and especially Kerry Peake, our president, that it's not up to the standard of Obidus that is being used at other crematoriums.
Right. Okay, thank you.
That's the only answer I can give you.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Much. Thank you for your report, Mr. Ryan. I'm very grateful indeed. Then we come to, let's have a look, agenda item number 7, manager's report. And if you've got it in front of you, it's pages 19 to 26.
Thank you, Chair. If we look at the first page, we can see that the numbers have slightly changed and the format has slightly changed for the memorial and tribute sales. This is to better allow us to measure how we're performing month by month, and as we continue with this, we can assess the months across the different years to see how the sales of the separate memorials and media services that we provide are performing. If we move on to the next page, we briefly discussed in the last meeting displaying the figures in a different way, and you'll see on page 20 that we've split into full cremation numbers, full cremation of those that haven't attained their 18th birthday, direct cremations currently, direct attended cremation, which we hope now to start providing in April, and infant cremations. We feel that displaying the figures in this way better allows for financial comparison and obviously setting of the budgets, as Jo mentioned in her report. So below, I'll briefly run through what each of the memorial options are. So first of all, we have vase blocks, and there is space that's dedicated for a plaque and small flower container. They line each of the Memorial Gardens pathways. A variety of options now exist, ensuring that family can have the level of personalisation they require, from very traditional designs right through to elaborate and bespoke. Our designs can now also incorporate photographs where families deem appropriate, and dedication of a vase block is generally done to memorialise a family member that has been interred within our garden of remembrance, and these can be leased for periods of 10 years. With the Sanctum 2000 and Sanctum 12, these are above ground niches, and these can be leased for periods of time to store remains of family members. Each individual niche provides space for 2 sets of remains for the specified period, usually in increments of 20 years. A tablet forms part of the fee, which allows a basic inscription, although additional costs can be applied for more bespoke designs, which are now freely available on site. The Book of Remembrance, from our visit, we've all seen the newly adapted Book of Remembrance room at the bottom of the garden, where there are 3 books currently. Entries are sold at varying prices based on the number of lines that are required, whether an emblem is required, and if an additional memorial card is also required. All of the entries that appear in the book can also be viewed electronically through the website. And then brings us on to Wesley Media. So Wesley Media is the company that supply all our in-service music and tributes. So just for the record, each full cremation service fee incorporates music tracks and a photograph as part of that £930 cremation fee. The sales that are displayed in the table come from additional optional extras such as music videos and family tributes that can be displayed on the screens within the chapel, as well as webcasts where services are streamed to those that cannot attend on the day, or recordings of the services. Then we move on to staff updates. Remember, we've recently employed 2 new members of staff at the crematorium as cremator technicians. Delmy Love has recently qualified, fully qualified. He just passed his test, receiving very positive and complimentary feedback from the test examiner, which was great to hear. So both he and Logan, the new members of staff, have fitted in incredibly well and an asset to the team. In terms of service schedule and related works, explorations, as we've heard from Carl, for the potential roof repairs remain ongoing. We've recently received survey results, and NORSE are using this to provide suitable options for repair. This process will then lead to the fitting of the solar panels when all parties are satisfied the roof is in the appropriate condition. FT, that's Facultative Technologies, the firm that look after our cremators, serviced the cremators and conducted a survey of the flue gas treatment stream that the new cremator will utilise. Everything is in order. We're in the process of arranging the first payment to FT so that we can move forward with the project of replacing cremators 1 and 2. So that payment has now been made. So in the next fortnight to 3 weeks, we should receive milestones from the firm advising us of the timescales, which you can provide for you then. In terms of the administration system, during the last meeting I mentioned the coming to an end of the software package in use at the crematorium. We've some time before this is the case, although we've now been notified officially by the company. We've recently been through a process of demonstrations with 3 main industry software providers, those being Plotbox, Gower and Edge. Each has positive attributes. However, there are several items that the successful company must provide for us to be able to utilise the software fully and to benefit us in the future. We're still looking into this, and on initial costings, the system in its entirety will likely cost between £30,000 and £40,000 to fully install. When installed, it will be able to provide the opportunity for family searches online, as well as being able to determine the last resting place of a loved one, whose remains have been laid to rest with us. The system will show the location on a digitised map of the site and will provide directions. We'll have the ability to charge for these types of services, and also in addition, something the funeral directors have mentioned, the funeral directors will then, under the new system, be able to access diaries to make out-of-hours bookings at times when they be visiting families when the office is closed, just to secure the times and make the flow of the bookings much more easier. Again, something that our nearest competitors already provide. We've then been looking into the opportunities to enhance the garden space at site, as previously mentioned by Joe. Currently the focus is on the two sections. So the furthest memorial garden where the Book of Remembrance room is, that requires additional planting and additional sanctum spaces. There may be options to further enhance the memorialisation opportunities in this space. Then the other was to create an infant memorial garden at the crematorium, something we feel is incredibly important and currently an area where we have a lack of provision. This area will ideally be away from the other areas and will provide a place of quiet reflection for parents and families dealing with loss of infants and young children. The two areas above have been planned and the initial plans are attached. The next step will be to get quotations for groundworks in these areas, as there are a number of pathways and concrete foundations that need to be put in place before the provision of the memorials. And those attachments are there so you can have a look through those at your convenience. And with that, Chair, I'd like to invite any questions that anyone may have.
Well, Kerry, thank you very much for your very, very comprehensive report. Does anyone wish to speak? I've seen no hands raised, but no? Anyone wishing to speak at all? No? Well, Kerry, your
hello,
report
Chair.
has been...
I'd just like to say that the proposed new areas look very nice to me, and I think, you know, particularly the children's area looks particularly appropriate. So I welcome these proposals.
Thank you, Yvonne, for that. Well, I'd like to say a comment, really, that as I use the crematorium very often, I know there's been a change of staff. All I can say is your new staff and your old staff have always been wonderful. I've got to say, very helpful and indeed very accommodating, for which I thank you. So, a proposition that the manager's report is accepted, please.
Propose.
Move that.
Yeah,
Right.
second it.
Okay, thank you. All happy with that? Thank you very much. Well, I think that completes the agenda. Is there anything else? Does anyone else want to say anything else before we close the meeting? And thank you all for your kind attendance and your contributions this afternoon. No? Well, I admitted to wish everyone a happy new year when I sort of open the meeting. I do that now. I wish you well, and indeed look forward to seeing you all at the next meeting. And do we have a date for the next meeting, please?
1 second, Chair, I'll find the date now. Pretty sure it's in March. I think it's the 18th of March, so Wednesday the 18th of March. It's at 1 o'clock. The reason this was changed was because of lack of availability of rooms.
Okay, so that's the 18th of March,
Yeah.
1 o'clock. Fine, that's noted. Well, members, thank you very much once again for your attendance and for your contribution. And
Sorry before you go, it's the 19th in my diary.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's the 19th. I got that wrong. Apologies.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Okay, fine.
That's
I
good,
like
so I
that.
can make the 19th, not the 18th. So.
Back to the date of the next meeting. It is the 19th of March at 1 o'clock. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, bye
Thank
now.
you all.
Thank